Hey guys, so here we are, the class of 2020, and I know you've seen a million videos and a lot of stuff on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and TikTok and everything else, but I usually get the opportunity, along with all your other teachers, to kind of talk to you guys on your last day of school, and well, we obviously did not get to do that this year, mostly because we didn't know it was the last day of school. I kind of talked to a few seniors that I had my opportunity to, and told you guys that this might be it, but again, I think it was a long shot, and probably a lot of people thought I was crazy or thought other teachers were crazy when they told you guys that, that last Friday we had, when everyone was telling you grab your books for a couple weeks, because we were probably going to be doing some online stuff. I don't think anybody knew that was the last day. Even people who said it was the last day, I don't think we really thought that was true. But as our weeks keep going on Google Classroom and Zoom and everything else, I think we're starting to realize that it's going to take a lot to get us back into school, and we may run out of time. So I've been talking with a couple of seniors, and I like being able to just give a couple pieces of advice before you guys kind of go off on your own. And I usually get to do this in person. I usually get to hug everyone, sign your all shirts. I always put nay, like right here over your heart. It's always a joke, we laugh. Usually that's to kind of soften the bittersweetness of you guys leaving and us getting to say bye. So without further ado, since I won't be able to do that this year, I did want to share a couple things with you that I normally share with seniors before you guys leave. So it's a little awkward to be doing this on video, but I thought it might be worth it. I wrote down 7 things. I've got a little list here of things I want to just add to the end of this video. And I'll probably cry because I do this every year. It's hard. But number 1, I live by this, and hopefully you guys have been able to see that in the 4 years that you've been there. But number 1, love what you do and you'll never work a day in your life. School is such a happy place for me. It is for a lot of your teachers. I'm hoping all of them. But I know the ones that I'm close with, we miss you guys. You guys you're part of our lives, and we see you every day. And while we focus on papers and worksheets and lectures and everything else, that's not everything. School is about being able to be in this close community with people that you love and care about every single day, and honestly, it's what makes our jobs so special. So while all of you won't be teachers, I know some of you guys are going to be nurses and doctors and engineers and lawyers and managers and entrepreneurs. You're going to do so many cool things with your lives. Whatever it is, whatever you pick, just make sure it's something that you love every single day, because that's what your job is. You're gonna do it 5 days a week at least. Okay, you're gonna take it home with you. You're gonna think about it all the time. So just make sure whatever you pick to do is something that you love, is something that you're passionate about. And if it takes you 4 years in college to figure it out, if you know what it is right now, go do it. I mean, whatever that is, just love it, because it's gonna take up the majority of your life. Number 2, love your parents as much as they love you. This is something that I cannot stress enough. And some of you guys, you don't have your parents. Some of you have grandparents or mentors or your aunts or uncles, or whoever those people are. Those people who have led you throughout life, those people who have made sacrifices for you, love them hard and big. You hear this all the time. We're not promised tomorrow, but nobody ever really knows what that means until you lose tomorrow. Okay, you guys are figuring out what that looks like with this. Not getting to finish out high school, not knowing when the last day was the last day. So for those of you that are going to college or the military, when your parents drop you off and they hug you and your mom is crying her eyes out, don't be embarrassed. Just be proud of that, because they have invested so much time in you and who you are and what you're doing with your life, and man, they just want to see you succeed. They want to see you be the best possible version of yourself. And they've done everything that they can do up until right now to make sure that happens. Now it's on you. So, you know, when your mom wants to decorate your dorm room and do whatever else, or your dad's making corny jokes that you think are embarrassing, just let them, because that's their way of loving you. That's their way of, you know, getting to influence this, you know, one of these last things that they'll get to have their hand in. To kind of branch off of that, number 3, appreciate when people invest their time in you, regardless of who that is. You know, as your teacher, we've invested a lot of time in you, and some of that is, you know, in my part, teaching you history. You don't know all the history. I know you don't. You don't even remember half the things I told you. If you remembered 10% of the things I told you at this point, I'd call that a win, okay? But that's not what it's about. It's about trying to make you a good person. It's about, you know, trying to build relationships along the way. It's about, you know, giving you mentors, people you can confide in, people you can trust, because dang, life is hard. And you better know that now, because you want to know those people that have invested their time in you, and you want to be able to appreciate them, not later, but in the moment. Appreciate them right now, okay? Number 4, work on the relationships you want to keep and be intentional. You guys are so lucky to have gone to a school where you're graduating with 100 people, not even, okay? And the reason why I say that is because you have gotten to know people that you are graduating with. You know their favorite color, you know what they looked like in kindergarten, you know everything about them. And some people maybe not, but a lot of people you do. You ate lunch with 20 people every single day. You know all their stuff. You know their siblings, you know their sports, you know everything about them. A lot of people when they graduate don't get to say those things, okay? But that's gonna make the next chapter of your life even harder, because although you've been so lucky to know these people and love these people and spend most of your days with these people, not all of them are gonna be there. You know, when you go to work next year, or when you go to college next year, when you join the military next year, whatever you're doing, not all of them are going to be there. So, in some ways, you're going to have to make new friends. And that's fun, and that's exciting. In some ways, you're going to have to say bye to those old friends. You know, and sometimes you won't say bye to them. Sometimes life will just drift you in 2 different directions. And that happens. And that's okay when it does happen, because you're growing and you're figuring out where your niche is, and you're figuring out, you know, what jobs you're going to have, and you're finding your people in those places, those new places in your life. But for those relationships you want to keep, you better start working on them right now. Your best friends since kindergarten, or maybe the best friend you made this year. Whoever those people are, you know, make sure you're working on those relationships, because all relationships take time. You know, if you want to keep a relationship with your parents or your grandparents, your siblings, all of those take time as well. Don't just assume those relationships are always going to be there, because they drift too. Okay? So figure out who those people are and make sure you're investing time in them. Okay? The same way that people have invested their time in you your whole lives. You've got to turn around and do that now, because you're grown-ups. You know, you're getting to the point where relationships are now your choice. You're not just going to fall into those. Number 5, spend your time in college figuring out who you are, not what someone else wants you to be. And this is hard, all right? Because, man, your parents have the wildest dreams for you guys. The wildest. They want you to do everything, okay? But you've got to figure out what you want to do. You've got to figure out what makes you happy, what drives your boat, okay? And once you figure that out, you'll be happy, all right? That involves trying new things. Get out of your comfort zone right now. When you guys go to college, you can be whoever you want to be, all right? It's no longer, oh, well, you know, I wasn't the popular kid in school, so I'm just going to be quiet when I go to college. No way. Turn that around. Be who you want, all right? You know, if you're an introvert and you like being an introvert, keep it up. Do your thing, whatever that is, okay? Because you are taking the reins of your life now. You are in control of those things, all right? So figure out what that is. Try new things, all right? But a word of caution, don't waste too much time, all right? When I had you guys in class, I've told my classes this every single year. You may not remember, but I promise I told you. You can't waste a lot of time right now, all right? Most of your success in life comes between the ages of, 15 and 25. If you can get started early in a career, if you can get started early on something you're passionate about, starting a business, whatever that is, traveling the world, heck, whatever that is, if you can get started early, you're gonna have way more time to do it, all right? So don't waste too much time, but try new things, put yourself out there. Number 6, growing up is one of the hardest things you will ever do in your life. Leaving people behind, leaving places behind, jumping out of your comfort zone, putting yourself out there, meeting new people, having new relationships, that's hard, all right? Losing people, that's hard. Growing up is hard. Making those choices is hard, all right? Can you imagine the choice of choosing what you're gonna do every single day for the rest of your life? It's supposed to be hard, all right? And the reason why is because it's gonna be worth it. When you put that time in and you're getting your degree and finishing up that last class, gosh, turning in your last paper, that's the greatest feeling ever. But just knowing you did it, knowing that your parents' wishes for you of being able to succeed and get a job and start a family, whatever those dreams are, knowing that you're fulfilling those is such a wonderful and satisfying feeling. And I hope that all of you get to experience that with something in your life, all right? So yeah, growing up is hard and it's bittersweet. Saying goodbye to you is bittersweet, especially because you're not right here in front of me. It's hard. But we all have to do it. We all have to go through those trials. Just know who you can fall back on. Know who your people are, know who's in your corner, know who you can call at a moment's notice, and they're gonna be there, all right? And don't lose it. Last thing. I actually heard this on a song. Just because you're leaving doesn't mean we won't be right here. One of the most special things about Catholic High, is that you don't just create friends here, you create a family here. And that is so cool because people come back. I graduated from a different high school, you guys know that. And I loved high school, I love it. But when you graduate with 300 other people, it's really hard to keep in touch. It's hard to feel that family connection. It's hard to, it's hard to keep up with those people. Yeah, we see each other on Facebook and stuff like that, but it's not the same. You don't know those people. You guys are so lucky because you do. I bet there's a handful of people that you all can count on your hand right now that you don't know a lot about in your class, and that's it. Because everybody else knows everybody, and that is amazing. The fact that you guys have been able to worship together for 4 years, the fact that you guys have been able to be vulnerable with each other, because the worship experience is a vulnerable experience. You guys are going to leave the confines of Catholic High and go to college where being a Christian and being Catholic is not the coolest thing in the world, all right? Sometimes that's going to be one of your hardest trials. But you've got 90-something people that you can fall back on, all right? You've got your teachers that are right here. You know where we all are. Half of you have our phone numbers, follow us on social media, whatever. But you know us. We're right here. I can't tell you how many times I have kids that will call me up and say, Miss Turner, I'm going through a hard time right now and I just need somebody to listen. That ear's open all day long, kiddos, all day long, all right? And I may not be that person for you, but you've got somebody at our school that you can trust, that loves you, that will give you an open ear anytime you need it, and you know that, all right? So just because you guys are leaving, and yeah, we didn't get to do senior picnic, and we didn't get to do baccalaureate, and we're not gonna do, your retreat day where you get to watch your videos of everybody growing up. We don't get to do those things, and we know that. We don't have prom. We don't have a graduation scheduled yet. We know all those things, all right? So we're gonna accept those for what they are, and we're gonna know deep in our hearts that that sucks so bad. But to know that these are not fleeting moments, that you've got an army of people around you all the time that are constantly praying for you, that are looking at your pictures on social media, that miss you all the time, that have Zoom meetings just to talk to you. You know, when you guys leave and you move into your dorms, or you go to the military, or you go to work next year, whatever that looks like, and you're not coming to Catholic High every single day anymore, you will always know that the people in that building love you guys to pieces, and we miss you. You know, all classes are memorable for one reason or another. You know, I can tell you things about kids that I've had in class every single year. I remember things about their classes, you know, who was the most athletic, who was the most academic, whatever, who had the best dances. I can tell you all of that about every single class. But this class will always be just the most different. This class will always be the most memorable because of all the things you all have had to go through. Learning online classes when you've never had to do that before, okay? Coming into Zoom meetings with questions because you're still, you know, interested in stuff and you still want to learn. Finding some kind of routine, you know, talking with your teachers, sending us messages. I mean, I've gotten little pictures of puppies, and I can't even tell you what else. And I love it because it reminds me of who you guys are and you know, the role that we play in your life. But the most important thing that I could ever tell you guys, and I'll end with this, but the most important thing I could ever tell you guys is that, you know, as your teachers, we give you a lot of stuff, right? We give you a lot of information. We give you hugs when you need them, and high fives for doing good things, and encouraging words, and we get on to you when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, because that's part of it. But more than all that, more than what we give you, is really what you guys have given us. And I know that sounds cliche, and I know it sounds silly and whatever else, but each year is so special, and each year is so unique and so different, because you all are different people, and you've given us smiles when we needed them more than anything. And you know, I've had kids hug me in the hallway when I've had bad days, and you know, you make life as a teacher so awesome, because I've got friends that dread going to work every single day, and I hate it for them because I miss my job. I miss you guys. I miss being able to see you every day. I miss getting on to you for not doing your work and whatever else, cheering you on at your games. And even though we won't get to say goodbye, maybe we don't need to, you know, because while you guys are gonna go off all over the world and do the most awesome things with your lives, you're always gonna be right here. You're always gonna be, you know, graduates of Catholic High. You're always going to know that this is a home away from home for you. Anytime that you feel lost, anytime that you feel, you know, like you just don't know what's next in life, we'll always be right here. So remember that. This has been long. I hope you watched it. I hope that you got at least one thing out of it, all right? But more than anything, just know that we love you guys. We are so happy and so blessed to have spent the last 4 years with you. And I'm sorry for my embarrassing crying, but we're so proud of all of you and everything that you've done and everything that you will do in your life. So, see you later.